Ann from Alibi with a special report for Cannabis Coast to Coast News. I'm here today with Jimmy and Crystal from Planet Nugg, a premier cannabis dispensary on Long Island, New York. Planet Nugg is hosting Weed, Women, and Wellness, a transformative free community workshop that explores the healing potential of plant-based medicine for women. This groundbreaking event unites a dynamic panel of women leaders in cannabis, health, and wellness for a candid, empowering discussion on how cannabis can be used to manage stress, trauma, pain, sleep, and self care, particularly for women who have endured domestic violence, chronic stress, or emotional trauma. So, Jimmy and Crystal, so excited to chat with you today. Can you tell me how this event came to life?
Yeah, sure,
Yeah,
Crystal.
absolutely. We met with two of the founders from the Freebird organization, Corinne and Judge Janine. And when we had met them, they came in with a really powerful mission and educated us quite a bit on how cannabis is held up in the court systems here and how there really is no room or gray area within cannabis. It's treated a bit like much harder drugs at the moment. So when some of them were going through some situations that were personal to them, they really felt like they could turn nowhere for relief, having to go through certain situations where they were going to be held in court and things like that. So once it came on that we could potentially have the opportunity to help and educate people on the different uses that can be helpful with cannabis, we wanted to hop on right away and start the conversation and see if we could start to make a change.
Oh, so that's interesting. So this is really to started to protect women and victims through the court system.
Yeah, and really challenge the way that cannabis is held up within the court system. Like at the moment, if someone was going through, say, some sort of battle with custody and somebody tested positive for cannabis, that could be held against you in ways that we think are a little too extreme.
Wow, that's amazing. This is sounds like Freebird org is really doing some amazing work in building knowledge and resources for women. Can you tell me a little bit more about them?
Yeah, they're headed up by the honorary judge Janine Daly and Corinne Murphy. They're obviously two women who have been in the court system and politics and even have personal experience with these types of things. And they came and visited Planet Nugg, like Crystal said. And the group here at Planet Nugg is very charitable, and it definitely, hit a string with us. And we sat down to really talk about creating a workshop for that specific one. And a couple hours later, we actually have a whole line of workshops. So we just started with our first one, which was how to use legal cannabis for trauma, and we had an incredible turnout. We had, a lot of different people who suffer from post-traumatic stress, from domestic abuse survivors to veterans to police and EMT. And we had an incredible panel of speakers. Alibi was there and did a really great job, telling the group about how these various cannabis products do really help, and how you could stay away from much harder drugs and sort of go down that rabbit hole that a lot of people unfortunately suffer from.
And I think a big part of this and the people that we had in the room on that first event is we're really combating a mindset that has been pushed on an entire generation about what cannabis is. And a lot of those outdated mentalities are really sticking with people. So I think the biggest mission of this workshop series is education, because without people asking the right questions and getting answers and seeing opposite perspectives of what they've been told, we're not going to go anywhere. So our goal first is educate and spread the word.
That's amazing. So tell me a little bit more about your vision for the future of this event.
So we have another one coming up that focuses on CBD and the minor cannabinoids of the actual plant. The event that we're talking about here today is actually our third workshop, Weed, Women, and Wellness. Cute little name. But as you mentioned, it really is about breaking barriers. Like Crystal said, cannabis still has a really horrible stigma to it. And we try to compare it to alcohol use a lot of times. And I'm sure people have seen we're in the midst of a world health and wellness movement. And right now, alcohol is at an all-time historical low. They're saying only 51% of Americans even use alcohol anymore. And that's the lowest it's ever been since 1906. So we find that an interesting fact right at the ground floor of cannabis becoming legal. We do think that it is related. So part of the series is absolutely to break down this ancient stigma and really have the conversation, the pros and cons. We never want to shut anyone down in a conversation, and we like to hear it all and share what we believe is the truth.
That's so amazing. I'm so thrilled that you guys are putting this together. And, as the owner of Alibis, I'm really just ecstatic to be able to partner with you guys to reduce the stigma and have conversations.
We
So,
appreciate it. We already got recognized by Congress, if you could imagine.
wow.
Just here, they awarded us a Congressional Medal of Honor because they are having a real difficult time with people coming back from war, domestic abuse survivors, and then the drugs that they're typically prescribed have life-altering effects. So we know here we have 1,750 products at Planet Nugg, and they're all lab tested. They're New York State legal. So we try to push people towards that as a way out of using those harder drugs.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciated chatting with you. That's the special report from New York. I'm Marianne with Alibi for Cannabis Coast to Coast News.
I think I messed up. Did you know there's a place that covers all the cannabis news you need? Pro Cannabis Media is now WPCM TV, your go-to website for things cannabis. WPCM TV is the CNBC of weed, bringing you the latest news you need.
Amy Carter. This week, she reports from inside the State House in Lansing.
I'm Amy Carter from Michigan Weedsters with this week's Michigan Report for Cannabis Coast to Coast News.
And talk shows about all things cannabis.
Well, thank you. And thank you for all you're doing to get the word out. Like, this show is so important.
It all started back in 2018 when Emmy award-winning talk show host Jimmy Young kicked it off with the In the Weeds podcast.
That it's not just any generic paper towel. You do have a brand that you use, right?
Yeah, we live or die by the bounty. I mean...
The quicker picker-upper! I love that!
His mission? Building an army of multimedia journalists and podcast hosts who are documenting the fight to end cannabis prohibition in this country and around the world. Fast forward to today, and we've got the nation's only weekly cannabis coast-to-coast news program with Elena Pinto.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's Cannabis Coast to Coast News, WPCM TV's weekly production of the fight to end cannabis prohibition in this country and around the world. I'm Elena Pinto.
Delivering the nation's only TV news-style program. Since June 2021, WPCM TV has racked up over 1.3 million views with 17 million impressions and picked up over 16,000 subscribers on YouTube alone. For more information, contact the team at WPCMTV.com